Last episode, we left the server mid-sentence. It said, "Here's what I can do." Today, we finish that sentence. Get this wrong and your AI either sits there useless or quietly does something it shouldn't. So let's get it right. Every MCP server, no matter how complex, offers exactly three things: tools, resources, and prompts. Think of a server as a box. Open it up and everything inside is one of those three. Learn what each one is and, crucially, who controls it, and MCP stops being magic. Start with tools. Tools are the verbs. They are functions the model can call to actually do something. Search flights, send an email, write to a database, create a calendar event. Actions with real side effects. Here is a tool definition: a name, a description, and an input schema. JSON schema that says exactly what arguments it takes. That schema is not decoration. It is how the model knows how to call you correctly. The flow is two steps. First, the client asks the server, "What tools do you have?" That is tools/list. The server hands back an array, every tool with its schema. Then, when the model decides to act, it sends tools/call, the tool name and the arguments. The server runs it and returns the result. One thing to burn in: tools are model controlled. The model decides when to call them. That is powerful and a little scary, which is why a good host asks for your approval before a tool does anything destructive. Next, resources. If tools are verbs, resources are nouns. They are read-only data the server exposes for context: a file, a database schema, a calendar, a document. The model does not act on them, it reads them. Every resource has a URI, like an address, and it declares a MIME type so the host knows what it is handling. Resources come in two flavors. Direct resources are fixed: one address, one thing. Resource templates have parameters. Watch this one. A weather forecast template with a slot for the city and a slot for the date. That single template covers every city and every date. Fill in the blanks and you get a specific resource. And here is the key difference from tools. Resources are application controlled, not the model, the app. Your host decides which resources to load into context, like you attaching a file to a chat. Third, prompts. Prompts are the shortcuts. They are pre-written templates, a packaged workflow that the server author ships, so you do not have to type the same thing every time. Here's one: plan trip. It takes arguments, destination, days, budget. Behind it sits a carefully written instruction that already knows which tools and resources to combine. And how do you trigger it? You do. Prompts are user-controlled. They show up as slash commands. You type slash, pick plan trip, fill in Goa, and the workflow runs. The model does not summon prompts. The user does. So here is the whole thing on one screen. And this is the part that makes MCP click. 3 primitives, 3 controllers. Tools controlled by the model. Resources controlled by the application. Prompts controlled by the user. That is not a random list. It is a clean separation of power. The user picks the workflow, the app decides what context to feed in, and the model chooses which actions to take: verbs, nouns, and shortcuts: model, app, and user. Let us watch all three work together. You are planning a trip to Goa. You type slash plan trip. That is a prompt, and you are in control. The app attaches your calendar and your travel preferences. Those are resources, and the app chose them. Then the model gets to work. It calls search flights from Pune to Goa, checks the weather, books a hotel. Those are tools, and the model decided to use them. One prompt, a handful of resources, a sequence of tools. Across one server or many. That is a real assistant, built out of just 3 primitives. So, quick recap. A server offers 3 things. Tools are verbs the model calls, resources are nouns the app loads, prompts are shortcuts the user triggers. Model, app, user. But we have been hand-waving one thing the whole time. How does the client actually talk to the server? What does that conversation look like on the wire? That is the next episode. The protocol itself, the handshake, and the language they both speak. If this made the 3 primitives click, subscribe. We are going deeper every episode. See you in episode 3.